Hi guys, I hope you are all doing well. Let's see today's question. So today's question we are taking this up from the topic of integration and particularly from the topic of definite integration. So if I talk about the question here, the question says us to find the value of k which belongs to a natural number that is given to us. And the condition that is given to us here it says is integral in is basically integral of the limits from 0 to 1, and the expression is given to us as 1 minus x raised to k the whole raised to n dx, where it says that n which is there, the power n, belongs to natural numbers, such that it also says one condition that this integral satisfies. This is 147 I20 is equals to 148 I21. So we have to figure out the value of k here which belongs to natural number. And if I talk about the answer choices that we have been given here, the options are 8, 14, 7, and 10. So we need to figure out the correct answer choice for this question that is given to us here. Let's see how to solve this question further. Before starting off with the solution for this question, I would first like to tell you that please do subscribe to my channel and support the channel as well, because it takes lots of efforts in making these videos for you, and it is free for you but also motivates me to put up better content and try to make the solutions as easy as possible. Let's see how to solve this question now. So in is given to us as limits from 0 to 1, and the expression is given 1 minus x raised to k the whole raised to n dx. Now once I have this, I know there's only one expression. So to solve this further, I'll just manipulate it and make it multiplied with 1. So I get this in the form of a product rule. So two functions are basically multiplied, and if I have the two functions multiplied, I can just use the idea of product rule, which says integral of u into v dx is basically u integral v dx minus big integral. You find the derivative of u, integrate v dx, and whatever you get the answer, you are integrating that again with respect to dx. So that is the whole idea we have here. So this basically is u and this is v. So if I use that here in this question, it basically gives me limits from 0 to 1. 1 minus x raised to k the whole raised to n is u. So it comes out of the integral. So if I remove this first and write that 1 minus x raised to k the whole raised to n integral of 0 to 1 1 dx minus big integral derivative of this entire thing. So I know derivative of x raised to n is n into x raised to n minus 1. So we are assuming this entire bracket 1 minus x raised to k as x. So it becomes n into x raised to n minus 1 into derivative of this entire bracket for the, so I get this is 0 minus x raised to k becomes minus k x raised to k minus 1. So I have this entire thing with me. Now once I have this entire thing with me, I have to also integrate 1 dx. Now whatever is the answer for that entire thing, you are taking the limits from 0 to 1 and taking dx with it. So I get from here 1 minus x raised to k the whole raised to n. Integral of 0 to 1, integral of the limit 0 to 1, but you're finding the integral of 1, which is basically x. So you get the limits here from 0 to 1 for this entire thing, and minus the big integral 0 to 1 again. If I try to solve and simplify this idea, let's do that. So what I get is n k x raised to k minus 1. So minus is also present. So minus n k x raised to k minus 1. And you also have 1 minus x raised to k, the whole raised to n minus 1. Integral of 1 will basically become x dx. Now, once I have this entire thing, let's try to further simplify this. So I get 1 minus x raised to k, the whole raised to n into x. The limits go from 0 to 1 minus the big integral if I have. Again, the limits from 0 to 1. You get here minus nk x raised to k minus 1 into x, which is basically having the power of 1. So if I have the same basis, the powers get added. So you get k minus 1 plus 1, which is k. So you get x raised to k. So minus n k x raised to k. And here you have 1 minus x raised to k n minus 1 dx. Now, once I have this, if I just apply the limits here for the 1, I get this is 1 minus 1 raised to anything is basically 1. So it makes 0 because anything multiplied with 0 becomes 0. Minus, if I put 0 as a limit, x is also present, which will basically make it 0. So this entire term cancels out and makes it 0. Minus limit integral of 1, integral from the limits of 0 to 1, the expression becomes minus nk. I have 1 minus x raised to k, the whole raised to n minus 1. And if I just do a manipulation here also, because this x raised to k is present, I can just make it 1 minus x raised to k. So if I want to do that, I can just do 1 minus x raised to k here if I have. So basically I'm using this x raised to k, but I'm using that with a minus sign. So this minus, I'm not using it here. So I'll just make it plus. And this minus x raised to k, which was there, I'm just writing it in this form. So minus x raised to k, which was there, I'm writing it with 1. So if I have added 1, I should subtract 1 also to make the math equal. So I get from here minus limits goes from 0 to 1. You have nk 1 minus x raised to k, the whole raised to n minus 1. And if I split this, I get 1 minus x raised to k minus 1 dx. So if I take the separate limits, I have minus nk 0 to 1, 1 minus x raised to k. If I multiply this and this, I get n minus 1, and here nothing is there means 1. So it's n minus 1 and plus 1, which is n, minus this entire thing will become again 0 to 1. 1 minus x raised to k n minus 1 dx. Now once I have this entire thing, let's try to solve this further. So I get this is equals to nk. Minus into minus will become plus. So this becomes integral of 0 to 1, 1 minus x raised to k n minus 1 dx, minus this becomes 0 to 1, 1 minus x raised to k, the whole raised to n dx. And this is nothing but we are talking about in because we're solving for that. So this is in. So in basically becomes nk. This entire thing now, if I see 1 minus x raised to k, the whole raised to n minus 1. So in was the same thing, but just instead of n minus 1, you have n. So this basically becomes n minus 1 minus this entire thing becomes in. So if I solve for this further, I get in equals nk in minus 1 minus nk in. So if I take it on the other side, it becomes in plus nk in equals nk in minus 1. So I get in common, 1 plus nk equals nk in minus 1. So from here I get in over in minus 1 is equals to nk over 1 plus n. Now, according to the question, you have a condition here, which is for I-21 and I-20. So if I just put n as 21, I get 20. So if I put n as 21, I get this is I-21 over I-20, which is basically 21k over 1 plus 21k. So I have this entire thing. And if the question, if you see, it says, if I want to figure out I-21 over I-20 from here also, I'm just taking this in the denominator. So this goes on the other side and becomes 147 over 148. So I know I-21 over I-20 is 147 over 148. So if I put it here, I get 147 over 148 equals 21k over 1 plus 21k. So if I just solve for that, I get 147 times 1 plus 21k equals 21k times 148. So I get 147 into 1, which is 147, plus 147 times 21k equals 148 times 21k. So if I take the terms of k on one side, I get 148 into 21 times k minus 147 into 21 times k equals 147. So from here I get 21k common, and 148 minus 147 gives me 1. So I get 21k itself. And if I just solve for this, dividing 147 by 21 gives me k as 7. And that belongs to a natural number. So I understand the correct answer for k, and that is basically option C. So C becomes the correct answer choice for the question that is given to us here. I hope you have understood how to solve this type of question. So what we did was we just had an expression, we manipulated it to make it multiplied with 1, and then we used our product tool to find the integral of the entire thing. And when simplified, I just converted it into the form of INs that is given to us. And further simplifying, I got IN over IN minus 1. Putting n as 21, I got an expression for that in terms of k. And one expression was given to us also for I21 over I20 here. So if I equated both of them, I got the value of k, and that basically turns to become answer choice C. So C becomes the correct answer for the question that is given to us here. I hope you have understood how to solve this type of questions. I'll see you again tomorrow with some other question from some other topic. And we are going to continue our series of questions on JEE mains. So stay tuned for more videos to roll out. Also, if you're enjoying these videos that we are doing on everyday basis, please do like the videos as well, and do comment on the videos and share these videos also with your friends who are involved in the preparation of questions on JEE, so they can also take the benefit from these videos which we are doing. Thank you.